I'm so tired. I got up at 5 today to go teach my class, which starts at 7:22. And I got an email at 6:30 that it got canceled. Which is fine. It's fine. Really, it really is okay. I just need to get over it. Welcome. I have this. So, I ordered something cool, which I'm waiting for it to come in. It's the Cake Pop Lippies from Beauty Bakery. They are so cool. I bought Bastani Ice, which is like this cool nudie kind of, they call it a cream brown, but it pulls kind of pink on me, which I don't know if it's just me or whatever, but 9 times out of 10, the colors that are listed on websites are not what it looks like. So anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. I think we're gonna play around with some stuff. Maybe, should we do something colorful? It's early. It's too early for colorful. I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a combo. Yes, we are, because I haven't used this in a hot minute. It did have a casualty over here. I don't know if you can tell, but it most definitely fell and cracked into a million pieces. And I had to put it back together again in the pan and do the whole like pat with alcohol. So these colors are just so beautiful. They are like just the most gorgeous. It's the most gorgeous little palette. 9 colors. I like a palette like this size. You know, it's like, it really is just manageable. It's not overwhelming. Here we go. Put my trusty mirror over here. So, interestingly enough, lately I have been doing my eyes first, which I don't do that a lot. Except maybe now I do. I don't know. Switching it up. I'm gonna start with Hangover RX, because it's the best. It just feels so good on the skin. Hangover RX is made with coconut water. It smells so good. Oh my god, it smells amazing. Now, something I did realize with Hangover RX is that it can make your skin oily, especially if you're already prone to oil or you're kind of combination, which is what I am, because I get really oily right around here and on my chin, like kind of dry, up in my forehead really easily and on my nose, but it's easily controlled with powder, so that's good. Let's just get into it. The cat has been banned from the bathroom because she was causing a ruckus. All right, so to prime my lids, I'm going in with Makeup Revolution's Conceal and Define. Conceal, I don't even know if you can see this, but Conceal and Define in C2. It's super light, pretty neutral. I like it, but you know what? I like ColourPop's concealer better. I just wanted to try this out because I've been trying different affordable concealers, and this is a pretty good one. It's just a little bit thinner than the ColourPop one. I just bought this though, and I feel like I'm almost out, which is not the best. I ran into that with ColourPop too. Like the concealers can really like run out really quickly, which is not ideal, but anyway. Yeah, it did. It ran out within a month. Not even a month, which feels soon to me. I don't know, is that soon? You guys tell me if that's soon to you. Prime, 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 prime. Okay, next I am going to go in with a Morphe M562 brush. It's not dirty, it's just stained because I have used the ever-loving shite out of this. I'm gonna go in with this color right here, which I believe is, what is this? Sorbet. Swirl, swirl, swirl. And I'm just gonna blend this into the crease first. I cannot stress enough what a difference a good brush makes. Now, I'm not saying get expensive brushes. Morphe brushes are obviously very, very affordable, but I mean a good brush in the sense of an adequate style and thickness for whatever it is that you're doing, because I used to use a brush that looked like this for my crease, which is fine and good. This can work. It's just the precision doesn't get quite what you need it to. So now I just mainly use this to blend out the edges to make them not harsh, and the looks are 5 million times better. Yes, this is an elder wand. Okay, now we're going back in on this side with Sorbet again. Left the coffee pot on. And also, if you're beginning and you're doing this and your lines aren't perfect, that's okay. The key is to realize that your looks come out in the end depending on how you pack on the color and blend it out. And honestly, how you prime first. So my suggestion is to always prime your lid well beforehand. Okay. Then I am gonna go in with this top color right here. It's a beautiful bronzy color, which is Wild One. Swirl it with the same brush. And then start with the outer corner and work my way in. Not all the way, just a little bit into the crease. And maybe sort of a third of the way in from the outside of the lid. Oh my god, this color is a little bit of fallout here. It's not terrible. I don't really care about fallout that much. I always go back and fix it afterward, especially if you do your eyes first. I hate to admit that. I always, always, always wanted to be someone who did their face first, and I've tried. I've really tried. I've tried to apply the powder and wipe it away afterward, and it still becomes a mess, especially with the super colorful things. So don't tell me. I mean, they do always say that there's no right way to do your makeup, right? Right? Okay. All right, so this is what we're looking like right now. It's okay, it's not bad. All right, good. This is what I use for my cut crease. It is a lot bigger than most people use for a cut crease, I will admit that. But I kind of like the amount of space it has because it makes for kind of a better and more, I guess, quicker coverage. It's from Mineral Fusion. It's called Camouflage. I don't know if you can see that. This light is not doing anybody any favors in terms of being able to read anything. But what I like to do, and I think people have different techniques with this, however they want to do it, but I like to put the concealer on the lid first and then pat it out, because I find if I put it right on the brush, it's a little bit harder to control. For me, at least, with this brush. With this, I might go in with the Revolution concealer. I might go in with Beauty Bakery's Cake Face concealer. This is an interesting concealer because it's super quick to dry down. But it's very sticky. It's very, very tacky. So it holds on to the color really well. Now, the trick with this is if you're gonna use this, you need to be careful with how much of the shadow you pack on, because it can start to get kind of like, turn into this like clay consistency and start to crack, and your lid will start to look like the desert floor. We don't want that, but it is really great. I did it with, I used it with my Mardi Gras look that I did last week, and it looked really great, turned out really great. You just gotta be really, really light. Go in with a light touch. When you see the warning signs, back off. But actually, I think today I'm just gonna use the same concealer I did for my eyes. So let's do that. I actually don't even think it was a month. I think it was more like 2.5 weeks ago that I bought this. This is causing me issues. Okay, I'm only gonna do a halfer. Well, it's not even a halfer. It's like a little bit more than a halfer, but that's okay. Okay. I actually almost never do a full cut crease. The trick with a cut crease, in my opinion, is not to swipe. It's to pat the edge of the brush up into where your crease is. A lot of people do that, that trick where they put a bunch on and then they lift their eyelid so that it touches the top, which you can do that, it's fine. People say that that technique, when you do that, shows the line of demarcation of where your shadow should go so it doesn't get onto the shadow above it. But I have found that if you prime your lid with a sticky enough primer for your cut crease, that line doesn't happen anyway. We're gonna bring this one up a little bit because that one went a little higher. What does it look like in the camera? All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's what it is. It's what it is. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. For my lid, I'm going to go in with this really, really, really pretty color right here called Highway. I don't know if everybody else has found this in Highway, but it gets that kind of like mottled quality to it when you use your finger, because when you use your finger, you can get the color precise and more pigmented, but at the expense of the actual pan and the shadow. And I found that the same with this middle one called Gridlock. They both do that. So if anybody has tactics to avoid that, leave a comment and let me know how the hell to fix it. Okay, we're gonna go in with Highway. And then we're gonna go in with the ColourPop Super Shock in Bubbly, and it's this pretty pink color. It's kind of glittery, like you can see the sheen. I mean, this light's pretty, but yeah, all right, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna go in, we're gonna fucking do it. Bleep button. Oh, but you know what? I haven't used this palette in a long time. It's just, it really is so absolutely freaking beautiful. You know, this is a really, really good look for a Tuesday morning. Simple, casual, it's fine. Who says you can't wear blue on your lids on a Tuesday morning? Nobody. You can do what you want. There are no rules.
There's no rules! Put your shirt back on. There's one rule!
Oh my God. That freaking color is so okay, maybe I was a little harsh because it does come out of the pan still pretty nicely. And it's not, don't be deceived, like it's not that like super buttery sort of texture that you get with shimmer shadows like this sometimes, but it still does pick up pretty nicely. And yes, the trick with this shadow is definitely to use your finger to apply it. I remember first trying to use it with a short shadow brush like this, and it did not go well, and I was super underwhelmed, and I was sort of like, how are these chicks on Instagram getting this pigmentation? What's the sorcery, friend? Tell me. And now I'm in on it. I am the sorcerer. I will say, if I remember correctly, that this shadow does sort of stain. Not terribly though. Not like some of these red shadows out here. I mean, the ones that are super pigmented and beautiful, they're formulated great and buttery and everything, but oh Lord. You stay looking like you have pink eye for 3 days. With some of them. No shade. I'll still use the shades. No shade to the shades. Now I want to impress with this that your brush should be clear of concealer when you go back and do this. If you use the same brush that you use to get the cut crease, because if it's not, it runs the risk of really effing your shadow up. So I am going to spritz it with some of my All-Star setting spray, also from ColourPop. I'm going to spray my brush to get it kind of wet. Oh, might be too wet. F. You know what? You guys tell me what you do with your brushes. Do you spray it first and then put the shadow on, or do you put the shadow on and then spray it? I've done it both ways and it works equally well. I think it's just a matter of preference. Going up into the crease of the cut crease to get precise lines. I'm gonna go over the top of where I put it on with my finger as well to make sure that we got enough of this color and this pigment on there. Tap, 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 roo. Going in on this side as well. You know, I watched a video of Nikki tutorials the other day, and I can't remember the influencer. This is bad. I can't remember the name of the influencer that was on with her, the really young one, who was in her Valentine's video. But when she was doing Nikki's looks, she took her sponge and, or it wasn't a sponge, it was something else, but she took whatever it was and placed it on Nikki's face while she was doing it, and then did her shadow like this so that the makeup wouldn't come off on the heel of her hand. And I thought that was so freaking genius, and I've been doing it to myself these days when I do my face first, because it's so helpful. Your makeup doesn't come off, and yeah, I mean, that's it. Your makeup doesn't come off, but it's amazing. Turn the light up a little bit just to see, and I think we have some unevenness, and I don't think that's anything to do with the palette. I think it's me having just wet my brush a bit too much, but we're gonna fix it. It's gonna be fine. Whatever damage has been done can be undone. All right, so I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna clean my brush again. I use Brush Bath by IT Cosmetics. This is amazing. Now the problem with this is that I go through it like something you go through really fast. But it is legitimately the best brush cleaner in the freaking world. And then I'm gonna go in with Bubbly, this nice kind of glittery pink shade. And I'm just gonna do that into the center and sort of blend it out into this blue. So we have this like kind of light, soft ballerina pink into this light turquoise color. We'll see how it goes. If you guys have never used any of ColourPop's Super Shock shadows, do yourself a favor and buy like just 1 or 2 of them to start. You don't need a whole shit ton of them. They're like literally, I think maybe 100 of them. I don't know the exact number. There are so many of them and you don't need all of them. Just find a few like key colors that you really like to use for your lid and try it out, because it's like almost like a pin cushion. Like people call it putty. It feels like a putty, which is pretty accurate, but it's like if Play-Doh had a baby with a pin cushion, that's what it feels like. This is interesting. This actually isn't doing what I wanted it to do. All right, we're gonna finish out on the other side. And then we're gonna try something else. Okay, now why does it look better on this side? I really think I overestimated the pigmentation, or you know what, it's not even pigmentation, just the vibrance of this, because it's soft and the vibrance of the, oh no. The other one doesn't, it's a lot more. It's, you know, the saturation of the color is a lot more. So, but that side actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe we stick with it. Maybe we just roll with the punches. Now I'm blending up into the crease. This actually looks okay. All right. All right, I needed to give it a try. I needed to give it a chance. It's pretty. What do I even look like I'm doing? I'm about to skip through a Fairy Glen. What was the, about to skip through Fern Gully. All right, now I'm just packing it on. And you know what? That's what needed to happen. That's what needed to happen, friends. I just needed to tap it on. Oh, yes. I am a fan of how this has turned out. It's not even done. Not even close to done. But I'm a fan of how it's turning out. And how I project it will turn out. Okay. Oh my god. I really do. I look like I am going to flit through the forest with some woodland creatures and sing to them while I sprout my fairy wings. Maybe mermaid. Is it more mermaid-like? It could be more mermaid-like. Who the hell knows? So I am now going to take a bullet crease brush. In all actuality, it's an e.l.f. brush, and it's the blending, what is it? Blending eye brush. I use it for a lot of different things besides that. So I'm gonna go back in with this shade up here, Wild One, and put that back into the crease, the outer corner, and blend that into this blue here. Okay, now since we've lost some of that blue and I want to bring it back, I'm gonna go in with my finger again and just go over the line where the blue and the pink on the inner corner meet. just to create a little bit of fusion. Something I've learned through this whole makeup process is if something is not working, the very first go ahead that you have, insist on it. Try to make it work. Now, if the texture starts to be compromised and you start to get like muddy, sort of like cakey stuff, maybe stop. But in terms of pigmentation, I mean, if the pigmentation is not showing up how you want it to, just keep going until it doesn't feel right anymore. Or until it works, one or the other. Okay, yes. Yes. Yes to all of that. I mean, I dig it. These Harry Potter brushes are my favorite. My aunt sent me these in the mail. And I don't know why Lord Voldemort's wand is the brow bone wand. Why does that make sense in my brain? That makes sense. Okay. I'm gonna go in, hold on. Apparently this is turning into some sort of ColourPop tutorial. I didn't even know. So I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop Super Shock called Smoke and Whistles. Yes. It's kind of this like neutrally, kind of peachy highlight. It comes off that way. It can be a little bit on the silvery side. So if you are sort of like a deeper skin tone, I would maybe be cautious with this one. I have used Wisp and Lunch Money, which are a little more like yellowy and golden, and that's how they pull on the skin. So those might be more of your thing, apart from this. Put that on here, get a nice little melt of it, and just right in there. All right. Highlight on the brow bone. Highlight on the brow bone. The thing I do like about this Super Shock is that it is not like super glittery. It's much more of that like soft kind of glow sheen, as opposed to Flexitarian, which will take your fucking eye out. After that, I'm gonna go back in with the same Morphe blending brush, the M562, and I'm gonna go back in with Sorbet over the top of where it is in the crease already, and just sort of blend that a little bit more into that highlight above. Just ever so slightly. Don't even really swirl it in, just like tap it and start to go in so you can add a little bit more of that pigmentation, because you don't want to just like skyrocket it into your brow bone. Tap, 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 tap. Actually, with this, I'm doing swipes. So, blended it into the highlight a bit. On both sides. And then I'm gonna go back in with that big blending brush that I talked about earlier with this, and just kind of hit the edges. Hit the edges and make sure that they are not crazy. All right, good. Okay, so after all of that is said and done, I'm gonna go back in with the same brush that I used on my brow bone and go into Sorbet, right there, and go along the waterline. smoke out that waterline a bit. Bring it down. Actually, I should be using this mirror to do this. Yes, this is much more accurate. To move on, I'm gonna get a clean tissue. Clean tissue. A clean tissue! I'm gonna put some makeup remover on it and just gently wipe away the excess that has fallen out under my eyes. Next, we're gonna move on to the face. I'm going in with Clinique Even Better. I cannot impress enough how bomb this makeup is. Now let me just give a little bit of disclaimer. This is sheer to medium coverage, okay? So if you are the type of person who really likes full coverage, this is not going to be for you. It is buildable, however. The reason I like it though is because the finish and the texture of it is virtually indistinguishable from your skin. Now it is a little bit dewy, okay? I know some of you are very afraid of that word, which I understand, because who wants to be looking like a greased up chicken halfway through the day? Nobody. Nobody wants that. But we will talk about tactics to avoid that in a moment. The shade I'm going in with is Cream Whip. It is number 14, Cream Whip. And it is a neutral, cool tone. Wait, what is it? I don't know. The thing is with this one, it doesn't actually have a pump. It's just like a little squeezer. So you kind of have to get used to how much you want for your face. But the more you use it, the more it just you get like, become a natural at it. Do I use a beauty blender? Do I use a brush? You know what? I've really been liking what the brush finish looks like these days. So I'm gonna go in with that. Also because I just don't feel like wetting my beauty blender. The other thing about Clinique that's pretty great is that their makeup is really, really gentle on your skin. It's fragrance free, which I love. I can't do the fragrance thing. I know a lot of people like that. They like to have makeup that has a fragrance. Like Too Faced's, what is it? What is it called? Do You? Oh, I don't know. I'm doing such a bad job at knowing names of things today. But their new, like, kind of, their new, I guess their newest line of foundation that's super dewy and smells like watermelon. I can't do it, okay? Okay, so with that, it's kind of nice. You could see it does have like that kind of glowy finish to it. Like, it's not matte. It is not matte. So I have scars and things on my chin because I am someone who has what's known as Trichotillomania. Now, those of you who don't know what that is, it is a compulsive behavior where you consistently pick at something, whether it's your skin or the like hairs on your face. When I was young, when I was really young, I pulled all of my eyelashes out of my face, so my eyelid was bald. I'm really, really glad that they grew back and that I grew out of that. Then, when I was in college, I moved on to my eyebrows, and my eyebrows looked crazy. They looked insane. And then, in my adulthood, I have moved on to my chin. And it's super stress induced. Like, whenever people who have this have anxiety or heightened anxiety, which is all the time for me. it just like it gets so much worse. Like it's just, you sit there and you compulsively pick, and the problem is when you try and catch yourself, it's all well and good, and I can at certain points stop myself, but sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. You just sit there and it's just like this automatic motion, which is why it's so hard to get over, because it's not even really a conscious thing. You have to act it's like an active effort to put it into your consciousness so that you stop doing that shit. To be honest, my face has gotten so much better. And to be honest, ever since I started taking care of my skin and learning, certain proper ways and proper ingredients and safe ways and healthy ways to take care of my skin. By the way, I'm going back in with the Makeup Revolution concealer in C2 once again. The compulsion to pick has actually lessened. And I don't know why that is. And I don't think it's like something as conscious or like part or as logical as like, oh, I'm now taking pride in my skin, so I don't want to do it as much, because the condition isn't about that. It's totally not that logical. It's just a matter of like, it's a compulsion, like I said. I think it's just like I have channeled that energy into something else, which is not a side effect that I expected from getting into makeup and wanting to do this and teaching myself about all of this stuff. Now, that's not to say I don't still do it. I totally still do it, but it has significantly lessened. The compulsion to like pop my everything, which I also have, has also super duper lessened. That probably more so because of a few things. I think one, sort of like what I just said, and also two, the more I take care of my skin, the less I have like acne problem areas, which duh, okay? Obviously, Colleen, fucking A, you just said something so obvious, right? But with someone who has, these types of compulsions like this, things like that really aren't that obvious. And like I said, it's not that rational, so you can't really rationalize it away. By the way, I'm blending this foundation out with the e.l.f. foundation brush. It's not a great foundation brush. It's an awesome concealer blending brush because it's thin, super thin, as opposed to ColourPop's foundation brush, which is quite a bit thicker. They're both still that like flat sort of thing, but you can see this is much smaller and much thinner, which I like. I really like this because it gets that like clean line under your eyes when you go ahead and do your eyes first and then do your foundation and concealer after. And I know, there are sponges out there that are made for that. I mean, I have the Morphe one that's made for that. It's got that flat edge, but I still find I don't get quite as much precision under that waterline that I want unless I use this. Great. I'm gonna go back in a little bit underneath this and just blend that waterline out because it's looking a little bit harsh right now. And don't put new product on your brush if you do this. Just take the excess that's already there and again, just blend out that waterline. I don't bake. Let's talk about that. I don't like to bake. I don't like to cake that powder on and just leave it and let it set. That's not my shit. I don't care for it. What I do, however, to control the dew is take a kabuki brush and just dip it. This is, by the way, the e.l.f. kabuki brush. I love this thing. Of all of the e.l.f. Brush products I've ever bought, this is by far the best one. But I will take my Maybelline Master Fix setting powder. Love this. Just take it, dip. You don't want to dip the whole thing, just a little bit on the center, and then I swirl it onto my palm, and then I just pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. It is the lightest layer of powder to soak up that crazy dew if you're someone who does get a little bit oily in certain areas during the day. And if you're someone with combination skin that has dry areas and you have a hard time sort of like finding that balance, this is a great way to do that because it's just, like I said, the smallest, thinnest layer of powder on your face. Next, I'm gonna go in and do my brows. Now, I know a lot of you do your brows first, and more power to you, boo-boo, but that is not how this girl does it, okay? It's just not. I can't do it. I also can't, like, the lot of you who do, like, the brow pomade and the dip brow and the powder, like, mad respect, I can't do it. So I use, once again, ColourPop. This is a ColourPop video. Why is this happening? ColourPop Brow Boss. I love this. I actually just started using this. Most of the time before this, I've used Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in number 3, and Precisely My Brow, which is very similar to this because it's got that, like, you see the just very small amount of product that's in there, but it's a good thing. It's just that, like, very precise pencil. And Precisely My Brow by Benefit is the same, but whereas that is $20-something, this is $6. I use the shade 3 in Benefit for both Goof Proof and Precisely My Brow. And in ColourPop, I use the shade Brunette, which is virtually the same. Okay, that saying that your brows should be sisters and not twins is maybe my favorite saying in the world. One, because it lets me off the hook, because even if they were supposed to be twins, I'm not sure I could do that. And second of all, it's so damn true. It's the truest thing. I love it. I absolutely love that saying so much. Sometimes though, my brows be looking like cousins, and I really need to fix it. Distant cousins. 4 times removed. So now I'm gonna go in with an Antonym blush. The Antonym isn't, I cannot stress enough how amazing this company is. It's a small little indie company. It is all natural, eco-friendly, like it prides itself on being super healthy with its ingredients. Their blushes, apart from like how beautiful this packaging is, I don't know what kind of wood this is, but it's gorgeous. I mean, look at that. That's so nice. That is so nice. But also look at that freaking blush. I mean, it's like a blush lighter. Someone, who was it? Just coined that term. Actually, no, it was, I was watching an old video of the Beauty Bakery CEO, Cashmere Nicole, and she said the term blush lighter, and I thought that was like the cutest thing ever. Yes, that's exactly what it is. The thing about these is they're super duper, I mean, even though it's baked down, they're loose and they come off a lot, and they're very pigmented. So if you have lighter skin like me, you have to have a light hand with it because it can get like kind of crazy. All right, that's it. That's all we're doing, okay? You see what I just did? Maybe a little bit more. That's all you need. I might even go in with that kabuki brush and fix that, because it doesn't look like it on camera because the light is pretty light, but that is a lot. That's a lot, friend, on my super fair winter skin right now. Okay? All right. So that's actually what I'm gonna do. blend that out. But I do like this shade. I forgot to tell you the shade. The shade is Copper. They retail for, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's also like, it's comparable to stuff like Becca. Actually, maybe like a little bit cheaper than that. And honestly, if you're gonna spend that money on a singular blush, or a highlighter or something like that, why not spend it on something that's good for your skin and helps a good cause, you know what I mean? I do want a little bit more of highlighter for this look. So I'm gonna go actually back in with Smoke and Whistles, that same highlighter that I used for my brow bone, and I have this thing. We don't need it. I'm going to 2 fingers, swirl, swirl, swirl. Actually, pat, pat, pat. Again, pat, pat, pat. That is the theme of today. Swirl, pat, and pat onto the cheek. Okay. Do the same over here. Swirl a little bit, pat, pat, pat. Okay. Sometimes that's all you need. All right, we're gonna finish off. I'm not doing liner today because I'm not in the mood. I'm gonna go in with my little mini Better Than Sex, which has seen better days, to be honest. Also, you notice I didn't contour. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think you have to contour if you don't want to with makeup. If you want that chiseled look, girl, go for it. Fuck it up. But also, do not feel as if you are someone who doesn't like to contour, doesn't want to, that you have to, because you don't have to in order to be good at makeup. It's not a requirement. If you want to just keep your face as is, do it. I really need a new one of these. This is getting dry. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You guys like my mascara face? Tell me why I almost did a full face of ColourPop. That's not true. I need to stop saying that. It's half true. Oh God. We're not gonna do falsies today, I don't think, but this is cute. I do. I like how the pink turned out. You know, I was doubting. I need to stop. I need to not doubt. Stop doubting yourself. Have faith in your choices. I think we're gonna stick with a neutral lip today because this look is a little bit like, it's got a little like touch drama to it. So we're gonna keep the lip simple. You know what's really sad? My Fenty Mademoiselle in single is almost gone. It's well loved, but it is on its last leg. That is rolled all the way up, girl. And it's like, it's there. It's there. And you know what? We're gonna use her anyway. It doesn't say it on here. But if I remember it, it's characterized as like a pinky blush, I think is what it was. And it pulls like that on a lot of people. But on me, it's not. It's not. It's basically orange. So. Oh my God, this formula. I'm gonna have to go back out and get some of this for myself again. Because this is honestly such a beautiful color. A lot of people have said about this that they don't need a liner with these, which is true. I find that about these as well. You don't necessarily need it. I really don't think that you do. Again, that's gonna depend on your skin tone and a lot of other factors, right? Right, okay, good. But in general, outside of like needing it for the shade, it doesn't bleed. It doesn't feather. They're not like, they're soft and they're matte, but they stay where they are. You know what I mean? You just gotta try the formula to know what I'm talking about. Because honestly, if I could own this whole line, I would. And believe me, I'm trying. Just gotta get that Fenty Beauty money up in my life. Okay, I think this is the finished look here. She cute. Okay. Comment below if you like this video. This is my first one ever. And let me know what else you would like to see. Ooh, like I said, I'm getting these cake pop lippies in the mail, I think. I'm getting, how many am I getting? I think I'm getting 5 of them. So I already have Bostani Ice. So I think I might do like a mini lip swatch video of those, just of the shades that I have, because the ones that I got are like super diverse within the shade range. So yeah, I think it's gonna be great. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.